Let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're exploring a massive shift in human history. What actually happens when machines stop being just tools and start becoming active participants in our economy? Imagine looking out at a city skyline and realizing that the autonomous vehicles, the delivery drones, the factory systems out there, they aren't just equipment anymore. They're the new workforce. For thousands of years, human civilization was built entirely around human labor. But right now,
So the core question we really need to tackle today is simple, but it's pretty profound. What happens to us when robots do the work? And this isn't just about jobs or economics. As our source material points out, this kind of shift touches on everything: education, politics, family life, extreme inequality, and ultimately, the very meaning of a useful human life. We literally have to rethink how society functions when the heavy burden of physical and routine production is lifted off our shoulders.
To ground us in reality for a second, 542,000. That is how many brand new industrial robots were installed globally in 2024 alone, according to the International Federation of Robotics. So, this revolution isn't some distant science fiction waiting for tomorrow. It's already well underway. And sure, while most of these are currently specialized machines doing things like welding, painting, or sorting, their sheer numbers prove that the physical infrastructure for a robotic economy is rapidly being laid down right now.
historically, we've always built tools to extend our physical limits, right? The wheel extended our ability to transport. The plow extended our physical strength. The computer extended our ability to calculate. But today's intelligent robots, they represent a massive leap. We aren't just extending human action anymore, we're actually attempting to replicate human perception and adaptability. Think about the stark contrast between traditional machines and modern AI. A washing machine doesn't need to understand Shakespeare. It just follows rigid, fixed instructions. But an intelligent robot can perceive an environment, interpret information, learn from data, and actually adapt its behavior on the fly. If a box unexpectedly falls in a warehouse, an intelligent robot doesn't just crash into it or blindly shut down. It calculates a new route and maneuvers right around the obstacle. It basically boils down to this: robotics provides the body, while artificial intelligence provides the brain. And that convergence changes everything. Traditional factories can be perfectly designed for rigid, unthinking robots. But human environments, like crowded hospitals, bustling construction sites, or cluttered living rooms, they're inherently messy and unpredictable. By combining a physical body with an AI brain, machines are finally becoming capable of navigating the chaotic reality of our everyday world.
Section 1. The changing nature of work. Augmentation versus replacement.
So are we looking at tools that enhance our jobs or a complete replacement? Well, by 2030, we're looking at a number like 170 million. The World Economic Forum estimates that structural and technological shifts could create around 170 million new jobs, while displacing about 92 million. That's a projected net gain of nearly 78 million jobs. But make no mistake, while the overall math is positive, it represents a massive and honestly potentially painful transition for millions of workers who are going to need to entirely reskill.
And this brings us to a foundational insight from the International Labor Organization. A job is not the same thing as a task. It's a great distinction. Most jobs are going to be transformed rather than eliminated entirely. Why? Because almost all occupations retain at least some tasks that require genuine, unscripted human input. Technology doesn't necessarily remove the worker. It just totally changes what that worker spends their day doing.
Let's break this down practically. Take the job of a nurse. A machine can absolutely transport medicine down a hallway, it can flawlessly summarize patient records, and it can tirelessly monitor vital signs. But nursing is so much more than that. A robot can perfectly deliver a pill, sure,
But a scared patient doesn't want a cold beep and a plastic tray. They need the empathetic face of another human being. They need emotional support, physical judgment, and trust. The job changes, but the human warmth remains absolutely essential.
However, the balance of who does what is shifting incredibly fast. Right now, employers estimate humans perform about 47% of work tasks exclusively. Technology does 22%, and 30% is a combination. But by 2030, this division of labor is projected to shift toward a much more balanced distribution. What this means for you and me is that our everyday operations, how we collaborate, who we hand our work off to, are going to be fundamentally transformed in just a few short years.
Section 2. Ecosystems in everyday life, bringing automation home. Because, this revolution isn't staying confined to factories and warehouses. It's actively entering our deeply personal lives. Now, the future home probably won't have one magical humanoid butler serving you tea. Instead, it'll be a seamless network of specialized robotic ecosystems. We're talking about machines flawlessly managing the cleaning, optimizing your energy grid based on your habits, and maybe even quietly judging your automated grocery choices. But this also raises incredibly complex questions about companionship. Can an AI tutor replace the spontaneous encouragement of a human teacher? Can a machine truly ease the loneliness of an aging parent? Which brings up a pretty severe warning. Convenience must not automatically defeat privacy. Think about it. If you have robots actively moving through your home, they are constantly observing your most intimate moments. What you eat, when you sleep, the private conversations you have. Because these machines can physically interact with our world, cybersecurity and physical safety become fundamentally intertwined. I mean, a hacked computer is a frustrating data breach, sure, but a hacked robot literally moving around in your kitchen? That's a physical threat. Section 3. The dark side of automation. Escalating societal risks. We have to be objective about this. Every major technological leap creates just as many vulnerabilities as it does opportunities. We could be looking at a devastating cascade of failures if this rapid transition is mishandled. Step 1. Inequality skyrockets if machines boost productivity, but the resulting wealth is concentrated entirely to a few corporate owners. Step 2. Surveillance. That same incredible tech gets leveraged for invasive monitoring in our homes and workplaces. Step 3. System dependence, where our logistics become so fragile that a single cyber attack can cripple a city. And Step 4. Loss of meaning. If society continues to define human worth purely through economic productivity, what happens to our collective psychology when machines just outright outproduce us in every category? But hey, we shouldn't lose hope here. Yes, machines can optimize targets, maximize productivity, and calculate efficiency far better and faster than we ever will. But who chooses the target? Who actually defines the ethics of that efficiency? We do. Optimization is not morality. An algorithm can calculate the mathematically most efficient healthcare triage, but humans must be the ones to decide what's fair, compassionate, and right. We're the ones who attach the story and the emotional meaning to the work being done.
Section 4. The fork in the road. Choosing our robotic future.
As we wrap up, we need to look at the ultimate decision our society currently faces regarding who owns these machines and how prosperity is actually distributed. Imagine two very different possible futures based on the economics of robotics. On one side, World A, a monopolized future. A few megacorporations own the advanced robots, generating spectacular wealth for themselves, while the vast majority are left behind in extreme inequality. But on the other side, World B, a democratized future. Robotics act as accessible public infrastructure, much like electricity or the internet.
Small farmers, local clinics, and independent businesses can rent or subscribe to AI power, leading to widespread productivity and shared abundance across the board. Because ultimately, technology is not destiny. The robots are absolutely coming. But whether they empower us or marginalize us depends entirely on the institutions, the educational frameworks, and the values we choose to put in place right now. We have to actively design policies that equitably distribute the immense gains of this incoming productivity. Which leaves us with one final and honestly pretty mind-bending question. If we get this right, and machines eventually handle the heavy burdens of survival and endless production, what is human life for? If you don't actually have to work just to survive, what do you choose to create? The future isn't humans versus robots. It's about what kind of world we build together when we're finally freed from routine. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.